Welcome class back to chapter 4. In this video I'm going to talk about the start of alien invasion. So in addition to the try it yourself exercises for chapter 4, on your assignments page you will see code final project adding ship. And these are the pages that you'll want to work through for chapter 4. So when all of this is done, you will just submit an additional zip file to the chapter 4 assignments Dropbox. So we're just going to look at these pages, and I'm going to step through some code and kind of how to interpret the author's code, when and where do I want you to add comments on in, and those kind of things. So let's first start by looking at page 228. 228 talks about, I'm going to bring up the terminal here. 228 talks about the start of alien invasion and what an alien invasion actually does. So the player controls a rocket ship. It appears at the bottom center of the screen. The player can move the ship right and left using the arrow keys and shoot bullets using the spacebar. When the game begins, a fleet of aliens fill the sky and move across and down the screen. The player shoots and destroys the aliens. If the player shoots all the aliens, a new fleet appears and they start to move faster. If an alien hits the player's ship or reaches the bottom of the screen, the player loses a ship. If the player loses 3 ships, the game ends. So very practical to how games are constructed. So in order for us to use the functionality of a game with Python, we first must install Pygame. So that code or that command is on the page 228, and you're simply going to type in python -m pip install --user Pygame. And once you go and hit that, it'll start the installation of Pygame. I've already done it, so it's going to tell me that it's already installed. So again, python space -m space pip space install space --user space Pygame. Okay. So you must have that installed in order for you to see the functionality of the code that we're going to type next. So starting on page 229 is where we start coding alien invasion. So before we jump into that, I want to talk about what I have listed here. So we already installed the Pygame package. Now we're going to code these 3 files, and I need you to download this ship.bmp file. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my File Explorer, and I'm going to create, let's go here, I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to create a folder, wherever my location, that's fine, and I'm going to create it called alien_invasion. And in alien_invasion, we are going to create an images folder as well. So an images subfolder inside of alien invasion. So that's where we're going to store our ship.bmp file. So just click on it and then right click on the image itself, save image as, and I'm in Firefox, so those are the commands that you're seeing. And then I'm going to go to alien invasion and then into images and then save. And we'll put an alien in there eventually, but all of our images will be in the images folder. So now if I look here, I now see that I have my ship.bmp file. Now the path is important. If I code this with anything uppercase, then when I use the code, I actually have to change it. So I recommend typing all lowercase images. That way you don't have to adjust any code. Okay, so page 229 starts our alien invasion.py file. So I'm going to go ahead and save that here. And in my alien invasion folder, that's where I'm going to store this file. Okay, and then I just begin to code. And I want to caution you that you pay attention to the indents and the blank lines. So import Pygame, that's the one we just unpackaged. We got a class called an alien invasion, and we'll get into a chapter called classes, but that's going to be a little bit. What I'm typing here now is what they call a docstring, and docstrings are required by classes. They're a little bit of kind of like a comment. They start with 3 double quotes and end in 3 double quotes. They're indented in 1 tab from the start of the class. Okay, and then we start a function within that class, and this is important. So when you see the INIT, it has 2 underscores, then INIT, and then 2 underscores again, a parameter of self, and then at the very end we have a colon, just like we did with for statements. This also has its docstring. And then we have a statement called Pygame INIT. Okay, so if you only typed 1 underscore here, this entire body of this function that we're going to continue to type would not exist. So if you ever get anything, errors that have to do with some properties that don't show up, it's usually because you forgot to do the 2 underscores. So now we set up a property called self.screen. And this is the size of our game window. So I'm going to shorten mine a little bit to 600 because 800 doesn't allow me to see the ship at the bottom. And this is going to give us a caption for our window for our game. Now when I go ahead and create a new function, I have to outdent and start that. So you want those to line up the same on your left margin. You may wonder why I am just using this video to type, but I have a purpose behind it. I want you to make sure that you understand exactly how the author needs you to code. And so hopefully by watching me type and outdent, and hopefully you can see some of the things, and then as we modify the code, I'll try to help you interpret what the author needs you to do. So we have quite a few indent levels, starting from the function to the while statement to the for and then to the if. So make sure that you indent those correctly, and then you want to back this up to the comment level here and then put in the next statement, which literally redraws the screen each time we have a change to the screen. And then this last part, this if, it's all the way flush over to the left. 2 underscores around name, 2 equal signs, 2 underscores again around main, and then a colon at the end of that line. It doesn't matter case when you're talking about the comments. I just like to make things identical to what's in the book. Okay, so that is your alien invasion. I'm going to quickly save that. And then when you flip the page and look at page 230, it starts to describe this. So as you're reading through, it says first we import the sys and pygame modules. The pygame module contains the functionality we need to make a game. We'll use tools in the sys module to exit the game when the player quits. So if you look at line 21, we see that exactly, sys.exit, so that's this one. And then you'll see stuff with pygame in front of it, and that is this one. Okay. Then it goes on to say Alien Invasion starts as a class called Alien Invasion, and the initialization function, okay, init, pygame needs method, the pygame init function initializes. So these are characteristics, properties that we initially need. Initializes the background settings that create a display, or maybe I should, background settings that pygame needs to work properly. Looking at my book a little crooked, I think. Okay, and so that's at line 1. And then at line 2, we call pygame.display set mode to create a display window in which we'll draw the game's graphical elements. Okay, and so that's talking about line 12 here in my code. Okay, so set mode gives the dimensions for my window, and then set caption is, of course, giving the caption for my window. Now, this object that is created here with screen is what they call a surface. So I'm going to just say surface is created. So I want you to add in your own comments beyond what the author does in its code. Okay. And again, the surface is what's going to be redrawn each time. Let's see here. The game is controlled by the run game method. So I could put here game is controlled by this method. Okay. And so as you're reading through, you just really want to try to put as many comments as you can across some of your statements. So this right here, I could say allows user to exit game. So I need like words to myself that allows me to make more sense of that particular statement, and the author does a great job explaining those. Okay, let's look at page 231. 231 has us then modify Alien Invasion. So what is in the light gray is code that already exists. When you see dash dash snip dash dash, that doesn't mean you delete the code. Do not delete the code. That just means that the author didn't print all the code in that particular spot in the book. Okay, so I'm going to look for the line that's in gray that says pygame.display set underscore caption, which is right here. And then I'm going to add in what's in black. So we're adding another property, and this one is the background color of our surface. And this should be a gray. It's a red, green, blue. So, and that goes from the intensities of 0 to 255. So 230, 230, 230 turns out to be a light gray. Then it goes on into the run game function. And notice again snipping. So it's actually snipping these lines, and then you can see for event. Okay, so after this one, it wants us to insert the black code. Okay, so on the next line here, we're going to do another property called self.screen.fill. And then this is going to use that property of BG color that we created up here to fill that screen. So self.bg underscore color. Okay, so self.screen.fill, self.bg underscore color. Okay. Then we create a brand new file. So I'm going to go ahead and run this one. And if I don't have any errors, I'm going to try to create some errors. So this is what you should see even before you did the, well actually I would wait to test everything till page 231, the top of page 231. So you should get a screen like this, and depending on what resolution you are, like 800 works great in this monitor view, but sometimes on my laptop it doesn't work so well. So just kind of play around with that. But let's see. I'm going to take out some underscores. Oh, I didn't want to take that complete code out. So if that's green like that, what happens? So if I forgot the 2 underscores, that whole function does not get initialized. It comes back and it says video system not initialized. Okay, so that is one error that could happen. So make sure that you got your 2 underscores and that is a turning of a blue. Okay, another thing that could happen is yesterday when I was coding this, I actually had this all indented. And I got this alien invasion is not defined. Okay, so this right here is the statement that actually creates the instance of alien invasion, and it was simply because now I'm trying to line this up in my class in the wrong indentation level. And indentation level is very, very important. So make sure that when you're reading through the code and typing it in that you're following exactly how it should be indented. Now from there, we create a settings file. And so settings is going to hold our basic settings for our alien invasion. So it's a class and it's an uppercase S on settings. And that's important because when we import it, we have to have it the same case. Okay, again, INIT, 2 underscores. We always have a self property with our functions, as well as a doc string. So now what I'm setting up is this is my screen with property. And you'll probably recognize these. And I'm going to go to 800 on this, just because I can do a little bigger with this monitor. And then there's my background color. Okay, so those are my initial properties and my class of settings. So notice that settings, py, is lowercase, but class has an uppercase on it. So now when I jump back to Alien Invasion, I just import this into my page, or yeah, import. So after Pygame, I say from the settings.py file, and I just type settings, import the class name of setting. Now it might do that. You got to make sure that it has a capital S on it. Okay, then we go through and we see Pygame INIT, and then we're going to do self.screen. So this line here is going to change. So self.screen, or no, sorry, self.settings first. Let's do it this way. Self.settings, we're creating an instance of the settings class. And again, if that sounds like mumble jumble, we'll get to that in the classes chapter. And then it's self.screen, pygame.display set mode. I should have left what I had there before. And then it brings in the 2 properties. So the 2 properties are from our settings. Okay, so settings refers to the settings class, and within the settings class I have these properties. So settings, and then screen underscore width, and then I'm just going to copy this. Oh, I actually put this right here. Put an N there first. And then this would be height. I need to have another paren here. Okay, and then there's the set caption, and then in run game, instead of having this right here with the background color, I can take this out. So after the caption, I want you to remove this background color, because the background color is in the settings file now. So in run game, after redraw the screen during each pass through the loop, we have this screen fill here. We just need to put settings in here because now we're referring to that other file. I'm bringing that in. I know it's a lot, but just trying to explain a little bit as we go along. Okay, so let's give this a save. Save all for both of those files, and let's see if I created any errors along the way. So the same results come back. Okay, and again, remember, settings is just setting properties, setting a width, a height, and a background color. When we bring that file in here, we refer to it as lowercase settings. So whenever we use any of those properties, notice that settings is in front of the property that's in the settings file. Same thing down here, settings in front of background color. Okay, page 233 creates the ship py file. So I'll have you go ahead and code that. Just again, make sure you pay attention to the indentation, okay? And then when you are coding, again, where it says snip, make sure that you please don't remove code. You're just trying to find where in the code do I need to put that additional code that is in there with the color black. If you have any questions on this, so what's going to happen when you run this, and let me open up a file that I already have here. So when you're all done, you should have that window plus the little ship down in the middle of your screen. Okay, so that's version 1. And then you're going to zip these 3 files together, put them in the Chapter 4 assignments Dropbox. So 2 zip files, one for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lab assignments for Chapter 4, and then a separate one for your first version of Alien Invasion. And then in addition, don't forget about the quiz. So if you get caught where code's not working, you just need to send me your files, all of them, which would be in Alien Invasion, settings, and ship, and I can go ahead and look through them. But just try to do your best and see if you can't figure it out on your own. Use those traceback errors. Make sure you're using the double underscores. Make sure you're not snipping out code. Make sure that you're indenting where you need to indent. And if you get stuck, let me know. Thank you.